that you can finally build on. Today, I'm going to go over 45 properties that you can purchase with owner financing, and I'll also cover a case study of one person who managed to buy affordable land and how she did it. So here's what we'll cover. First, I'll do some quick property updates, so what's on hold and what's coming up, and then we'll do our deal of the day. And then finally, I'll do a deep dive on one case study, a woman who bought 6.74 acres in Saratoga County, New York. And we'll look at what her monthly costs are and how she started making money immediately with a farm stand. Finally, I'll have a fact of the day and then a free gift just for being here. So just to get started, my name is Erica. I have a company that buys and sells vacant land. My website is gokchecapital.com, and you can find all of our available listings by clicking Buy Land, or you can go to land.gokcap.com. Now you can see we do have a number of properties. Hi, Zaphael. 45, that's how many chickens I have, but they're hard to count. That's a lot of chickens. How many eggs does that produce each year? I'm sure you could sell a number of the eggs. Just a few updates quickly. Yesterday was actually a pretty big day. We had 2 Putnam County properties go on hold. Properties do tend to go quickly once they're on hold, but fortunately we have a couple other properties in Putnam County, and one of them will be the deal of the day. But we do have other properties in North Carolina, New Mexico, Colorado, Oregon, and New York. And all of the properties that are for sale by owner do come with owner financing. So let's take a look at the deal of the day. So we did have 2 Putnam County properties go on hold. So I thought I would highlight this 0.46 acre property that's also in Putnam County. Now, if you're not familiar with Putnam County, it is just south of Jacksonville in northern Florida, and it's kind of in the central portion of northern Florida, which is nice because it probably means there's going to be a little bit less flooding whenever you get the seasonal storms and hurricanes. And the closest town is Interlochen. You can also see that there are a number of state parks and conservation areas in the nearby vicinity. So if anyone really likes outdoor recreation, this is a more rural area, and it has a lot of opportunities for someone looking for something like this. Putnam County, again, is a more rural county, which means that many of its zoning districts are a little less restrictive. Now, RVs aren't allowed, but some zoning districts do allow mobile homes, which is becoming a little more rare these days. And this particular property, we did already get drone videos of. So you can see there's a dirt road, power lines. The lot is wooded at the moment. We do also have a drone video. And so you can take a look at what this property looks like. And the zoning designation is R2. My team can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that is the designation that allows mobile homes. But again, correct me if I'm wrong. Yes, that is the designation that allows mobile homes. So if you're looking for a mobile home lot, this would be a good option. And we currently do have it priced at $12,997 plus the doc fee, but of course, we offer owner financing as well, and we will tailor the owner financing terms to meet your needs. So just reach out to us and we will figure out terms that work for you. There is no minimum credit score required. I'll mention that, and there's no prepayment penalty guarantee as well. Zaphael, so this is your first time with chickens, so a lot of the hens are not laying yet. Perhaps 12 to 30 a day, but right now it's, interesting. You'll have to let me know over the next couple of weeks how it goes and what your experience is like raising hens. So you started out with 45. That's a pretty big jump. Your dollar cost average on them is read by thousands of dollars. Well, hopefully that will change, especially if you get to 30 eggs per day. But yeah, let me know. At least you have unlimited eggs. I hope you like eggs for breakfast. All right, so that is our deal of the day. And we can then get into our case study, which is one that Abby actually pointed out for me. This is a
coming at you guys live from my
YouTuber.
Garden. This is my very first
she
year
is 32 years old, and she's documenting the whole process that she's going through
on my
as she
6.74 acres of
purchases
land
a
I bought 2 years ago.
6.74 acre
I couldn't get out in the
parcel in
garden
New York,
until this summer
and
because
she's
the
also
Amish
building a
finally
barn
wrapped up
and setting up
excavation and all
a
that
small
good
scale
stuff. So
farm
this is my
on the
first
property.
ever video
So
where I'm giving you guys
how much does a hen cost? Oh, that's a good question. I should have asked that
as it currently
well.
is. Disclaimer,
I just
this is
looked
not a
into that, but
Martha
I don't remember
Stewart style garden,
in my head.
though I wish it was or will be at some point.
Yeah, I'd be
This
curious
is
to hear
a wild,
what your costs
living,
are, like how much
buzzing
it's come out
garden
for
that
you
has been set up
to build the
purposely
enclosure,
for the
feed them,
pollinators. That has
and
always
actually
been my
purchase
mission
them.
here, and it will always be my mission here.
That's-
And I'm very
maybe we
happy
can
and proud
highlight
of
you
the
on a
amount
case
of life
study
I have attracted to
after
this
you've
garden
tried
this
for a
year,
couple
which is why I
weeks
want
to
to show you
make it
guys
balance
exactly
out,
what I
see
have
whether
set up
raising
here.
chickens
It
is a
wasn't
good
as
way to
hard
make
as
money
I
from
thought
land.
to have an area teeming with life. Maybe I'm onto something, maybe I'm
Yeah,
not,
today's
but
case
I'm going to show
study
you
is
what I've
Alexandra.
added, like different watering
She's 32
holes,
years old,
my different zinnia
and
beds, all
she
of the wild
funded
areas
the
of my
land
property.
purchase all
I'm going to show you
herself.
what
So
it looks like
she bought
when you take a
6.74
stroll
acres.
around my garden here at House of Green. Warning, you are going to see some weeds, you're going to see some unkept areas, you're going to see some overgrowth.
Okay, can you hear me now? Sorry about that. Zaphael, I think I was...
We can't hear you.
Yeah. Zaphael, I was saying, I don't think you heard me, but I was saying maybe we can use you as a case study someday to see whether whether raising chickens actually is a good way to make money. I'd be curious what all the costs were to get started. And so Zaphael's saying it's $8 to $2.5 for a chick, depending on if you get deals on them. Oh yeah, it'd be interesting. Like I said, maybe after you've tried for a couple of weeks, we can use you as a case study. Thank you. Yeah. So Alexandra, she purchased 6.74 acres in Saratoga County. That's kind of more upstate New York. And the purchase price was $160,000 for the land itself. And she did look at two different ways of financing the property. One was a USDA loan, and I went over USDA loans in a previous live stream, but the nice thing about a USDA loan is that it is $0 down. So maybe we can show some
You want to buy
other
land,
footage.
you want
It's $0 down if you qualify as low income or veteran. If you're a veteran, they do have a lot of nice programs for veterans. But she actually chose to go through the farm credit system, which is like a regional co-op system that lends on farmland. And they did have a 30% down payment requirement, so you don't get the same nice down payment, $0 down payment as USDA. But it was 9% interest over 10 years, which means that her monthly payment on the land came out to about $950. So that was for the land itself. Now, she also built a barn. This was Amish construction. So the local Amish community built the barn for her. She mentions that she went with, oh, you used farm credit too. Traditional mortgages won't let you buy land easily, yeah. I know that's why many of our buyers go with owner financing, because it can be hard to find financing options for land. So it's good that we're calling this out, because I'd mentioned USDA loans before, but farm credit is another financing option for vacant land or agricultural land. It's just you're not going to get quite as good terms as you would like with a traditional residential mortgage. Do Amish? They do. They do charge, but they're known for their high quality workmanship. So that's why a lot of people like to go with Amish construction in the communities where Amish are active and working. So farm credit, well, let's pull up their website. So the farm credit system, here's just the overview. It's a national network of borrower-owned financial institutions, so they're co-ops, right? The borrowers own them. And it's also through the USDA, or the Farm Service Agency, but they do kind of function like banks. They're co-op banks, and they're primarily there to serve the agricultural community. Right, so you can see the different kinds of loans. Like here, this is one example. Oh, that's good. Interesting to know. Zafael is saying that you don't necessarily need 20 or 30% down. You can talk to various lenders at a farm creditor in your area, because there will be options. You should shop around, as with anything. The Amish, well, I don't really want to get into talking. I'm not an expert on the Amish, so I don't want to misrepresent their community. But I don't think it's that they're against material things. It's more that they are very selective in what technologies they will incorporate. But they do buy and sell goods. Auction for what? And so Zafael, for example, paid $0 down for his land. Auction had a 10%. Oh yeah, interesting. Farm auction. Was that like an estate auction, or was it someone defaulted on their loan? But yeah, so here's one example of a lender through the system, and you can see they have a number of different products, specialty products, farm and ranch, horse properties. You can get a farm equity line of credit once you have the land, a grove and orchard, vineyard. So if you're in the agriculture space, they even have wind and solar financing. So if you're in the agricultural space, there are a lot of specialty products that you can shop through the farm credit system. Oh, bankruptcy default. So you must have gotten it at a very good price then. Yeah. Maybe that's a good idea. Maybe I can do my next live stream on how to acquire farmland through the farm credit system or through auctions. So, but back to this case study. So yeah, she had an Amish-built barn then put on the property. So it was $160,000 for the land, and she paid cash for this. She calls it a barn. It's a barn dominium. So she's going to live in it. It's like a workshop and living space. So farm credit is equivalent to money. They're lenders. It's just a co-op bank. So it's owned by the borrower community. Why is Amish construction known for high quality? Well, to be on the safe side, I will quickly look up how I should answer that question, because I don't want to stereotype. I think the key, if I remember correctly, one of the key things is they have a very long tradition of hands-on building because they're very selective in what technologies they will incorporate as a community. So there are a lot of, what you would consider traditional woodworking, building techniques and skills that they still know and are very knowledgeable in, and which produces high-quality crafts. If the stereotype is good, I think you're safe. Okay, you can keep that in mind. But they're also apparently known for attention to detail, again, because they don't rely as much on modern machinery or heavy machinery. So they have a lot more experience just with basic labor and key attention to detail. So customer reviews say they notice tighter joints, sturdier frames, cleaner details, and it's all coming from slower, more deliberate, like handcrafted kind of work. And they're also known for their functional craftsmanship. So a lot of their work is not very ornate, but it's very functional and has a reputation of lasting for a very long time. Because it's the same kind of construction that they would do for their own community or their own homes and goods. Oh, Zaphael, you're not impressed yourself? Have you purchased any Amish produced goods? You don't think they're that high quality? I know they have a strong reputation. I myself have never actually purchased an Amish produced good, so I can't say from personal experience. But anyway, in this case study, she went with Amish construction, and she did pay cash for this. So in this particular case study, she had quite a hefty chunk of savings, and that was for two reasons. One, she had spent the last close to decade as a freelancer, so she'd saved up money through her small business, but she had also apparently had a home in Florida that was flooded, and so she just sold that and rolled over the cash into the construction of the barn. So only for people who want to farm. What about homestead? Oh, as in for the farm credit loans? I'm sure that you just lost all your Amish audience by claiming you haven't bought. Sorry. Well, if it'll help get the view count up, we can go get a new table and chairs maybe. But the final cost for this is 74 by 36 foot barn dominium, so it's about 2,600 square feet with radiant floor heating, septic, electricity, insulation, a loft, and a tack room. And the final cost was $332,000. So again, she paid cash for this. But as I had mentioned in previous live stream, there are financing options for construction. So if you want to purchase land and build, the USDA does have some construction loans, but other lenders have construction loans as well. I'm pretty sure if you look in the farm credit system that you would find some lenders there. I thought I saw one in this drop down, but maybe not. But I'm sure if you shop around in the farm credit system, you could probably find lenders in your area who would do construction loans as well. And usually a construction loan will finance the purchase of the land as well as the construction. There might just be a requirement that you live on your land. You're not just, constructing infrastructure for a farm. Okay. So her other monthly costs were relatively minor. She had the land loan of $950, and then she has to get Starlink for internet. Oh, this is what the barn dominium looks like. So it does seem like a pretty nice construction. Our fairly minimal Starlink internet, about $100 to maintain some chickens and animals, and then she does have like snow removal and minimal tax payments right now. But within the first month or two, she did start a farm stand to help offset the costs of at least the land portion itself. Land loan for $950K. Can you refinance USDA loan to get a lower interest rate? I think it would be probably hard to find a loan that comes with a lower interest rate than USDA because that's a government loan. But you could try. I mean, that's why it's always important to shop around whenever you're looking for financing. Even with land, you should be able to find some options, especially if you're talking about larger agricultural land. Right? You can refinance anything if you have a financier. That's true. It just depends on whether the other financier is going to offer a lower interest rate. That's why I said I think it'd be hard to find someone who's going to beat the government when it comes to interest rate. What if the Fed drops the rate and you are paying 10%? I think that there is a process where you can refinance your USDA loan if that's what you take out. There's almost always a refinancing option when you're financing. And land loan for $950K. Yeah, I mean, once you're getting up into properties that are that high value, it actually should become easier to get financing. It's really when you're looking at the sort of lower value properties that it can be hard to get financing. Why? People like us offer owner financing, right? Yeah, I think that there should be a process where you can refinance through the USDA. Right, I meant $950 per month. Those are her loan payments, sorry. So each month she's paying $950 for the land through her loan. And she's offsetting that whole loan amount. She's making $1,000 per month from this farm stand, which she started in the first couple months of getting the land. So she's able to, at least initially, offset the cost of the land itself. And you can see here she primarily sells pumpkins, microgreens. She has a fair amount of compost she produces from her, she has 6.74 acres that she's trying to farm. So she produces a fair amount of compost that she sells as well. And she does some crafts like spoons, ornaments, things like that, that she sells at the farm stand. And each of her products are fairly low ticket. A pumpkin goes for like $3, maybe $8 if it's larger. But altogether, she's able to make about $1,000 per month. And she does that in part through some marketing tricks she uses, like she gives things away for free to draw people in. So she'll give away native seeds in little envelopes, free samples of microgreens. And she put together a directory of Amish services, since they're often not advertising online. And people seem to be very interested in that. So they'll stop by to get a copy of that. What's the end game? So her end game, at least according to what she says online, is she actually wants to primarily produce a pollinator garden. Like she wants to, in part, use the land to help bring back monarchs and native pollinator species. But she also says there's about to be a big transfer in agricultural land because the baby boomer generation is retiring. And she's trying to promote sort of people who are not traditionally farmers, younger people. She's trying to advocate that they go out and purchase the land so it doesn't all go into the hands of corporations. And Zaphael says, my loan was 6.25% interest because it's a co-op, and we get 1% back on interest payments made. Also pay it off in under 8 years. She should watch your butterfly raising video then. Yeah, maybe we can reach out to her. But, oh yeah, those are pretty good terms. So I'll look into the farm credit system. I think that would be a good topic to cover maybe on Tuesday, because I'm actually going to be out this weekend traveling to a wedding. another YouTube channel. Yeah, she seems very interesting. She has a Substack too. Not that I have no affiliation with her. I'm not trying to advertise her stuff, but she does give out a lot of numbers, marketing tactics. So that was the little case study. It's an example of what you can do, how it's possible to purchase land, even if you don't have a huge chunk of money. She did have a chunk of money to go toward the barn dominium, but the land itself she purchased for a fairly low amount because she got farm credit financing. All right, so that. Anyone else in the chat say hi? Yes, Raphael, you're carrying the whole chat yourself. We should have more participants. But that's going to wrap up the show for today. And I do want to go to the free gift, which is because I highlighted Putnam County. We have a write-up on why Putnam County is going up in value, or is a good area to look at if you're purchasing land. And I can include the link for that in the description and the comments. Where's the fun fact? Oh yes, I almost forgot that. So let me go to the fun fact. Now, I talked about annexation yesterday, so this is a follow-up from that. But did you know that Texas is the only state that joined the U.S. by treaty, not annexation? So that means it kept control of its public lands, unlike other states where the federal government grabbed most of it. That's why there's so much federally owned land in the West. So it's one reason why Texas can feel a little bit different, and why there seems to be so much more privately held rural land in Texas than in other parts of the West. This is a recommendation, but perhaps go to your farm credit. And then Zaphael has another good recommendation. Go to your farm credit system lender in your area and see if they'd be willing to do a video recording talking about what they can offer. That's a good suggestion. I'm sure they would like the outreach, so maybe we can look into that. That would be fun. I'll think about that. Wait, what about? So it was Texas. So it was a treaty, not an annexation. It's a slightly different process, but it did mean that Texas had a little more. It was like a negotiation because Texas was already an entity before it became part of the U.S. So they had a little more ability to negotiate terms, and they kept control of most of their public land. But if I can follow up on that fun fact with more information about Texas treaty, if anyone's interested in historical details. Yeah, Hawaii, I'll have to give a fact about Hawaii's incorporation as well, because that was also a different process than most of the U.S. Not like Alaska. Yeah, Alaska was another purchase. So, okay. Yeah, well, so little federally owned public land compared to, like if you look at most of the West, there are huge chunks of land that are still owned by the U.S. government, but that's not the case in Texas. So, okay. So that's about it for today. Oh, and we do have our discount code, which because we highlighted Florida today, feds own all the property. Yeah. Alaska and Nevada are like the two states with the most federally owned land. But the discount code for today is LiveFL150 for $150 off any Florida property. It's valid till midnight. You would get that discount if you either buy or hold the property today. Wonder how the Greenland deal will pan out. State versus federal owned land. Yes, and that's a key point. I'm talking about federally owned public land. I'm talking about Texas. There's also plenty of state public land all over. And if you are interested in any of our properties, you can go to land.gocap.com and to shop around, look at properties in Florida, maybe try to find your own piece of land to do some homesteading or to build a barn dominium on. Hopefully it'll just happen. We'll see. We'll see. Maybe we'll keep following the Greenland news in each of these live streams. So thank you everyone for being here. Zafael, thank you so much for all the tips. We will look into farm credit, the farm credit system next Tuesday. And then maybe in the upcoming weeks, I can try to figure out whether I can do an actual interview with a farm credit system rep in our area. I'll have to see if that's feasible, but it's a really good idea. That would be a lot of fun. So thank you, everyone. I'm not going to be here the next few days because I'm going to a wedding, but I'll be back Tuesday to talk about the farm credit system. Have a great weekend. When will your listing in Greenland be? Let's find out. Should we start shopping around now, Abby? You can keep that in mind.